about to enter in that land that's flowing with milk and honey. You trusted God through the wilderness. That battle that you've been going up against, you're about to be able to rest and kick your feet up, honey. A few months ago, I did a word that was titled "Don't Go Back." In that word, I was talking about how the Israelites were trying to go back to Egypt after God had called them out of Egypt into the wilderness to get them to their promised land. So if you guys have not had time to take a look at that video, I do encourage you to go ahead and watch that video, because shortly after that, God had given me the words milk and honey. I ended up going to Walmart one day, and one of the items that I was getting was some hand soap. So I went to that aisle. I ended up seeing some soap, and it said milk and honey, the promised land that God was giving to the Israelites. He stated that it was a land flowing with milk and honey. Somebody is about to enter their promised land. Their promised land flowing with milk and honey. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I will be starting in Numbers today, chapter 13. So it reads, Jehovah now instructed Moses to send spies into the land of Canaan, the land I am giving to Israel. Send one leader from each tribe. Moses did as the Lord had commanded. After 40 days of exploration, they returned from their tour. They made their report to Moses, Aaron, and all the people of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh, and they showed the fruit they had brought with them. This was their report. We arrived in the land you sent us to see, and it is indeed a magnificent country, a land flowing with milk and honey. So I don't know who this is for, but maybe you are about to move to another city, and God has sent you to that city to explore, to see what it is like. You may be opening up a business, and God may have sent you to that storefront, or he have maybe sent resources on how to create a website, or maybe it's time for you to get a new car, and God has sent you to that lot to view that car, or maybe you're about to buy a new house, so he has sent you to look at this house before you close on it. But whoever this is for, God is setting things in place, and he has sent you out to spy over these things, because he's about to give you this land. You're about to possess these things. Moving forward to Deuteronomy 8, verse 6, it says, Obey the laws of the Lord your God, walk in his ways and fear him. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land of brooks, pools, gushing springs, valleys, and hills. It is a land of wheat and barley, of grapevines, of fig trees, pomegranate, olives, and honey. It is a land where food is plentiful and nothing is lacking. So God is about to bring you somewhere where you're about to live in abundance. You're about to be the head and not the tail. You're about to be the lender and not the borrower. And you should not lack. He said you're going to lack nothing. And then it says, it is a land where iron is as common as stone and copper is abundant in the hills. When you have eaten your fill, bless the Lord your God for the good land he has given you. So basically it's saying, when you get to this land, make sure that you give thanks to God. Make sure that you show gratitude to God, because he got you here. It was once upon a time where you were in the wilderness, where it was empty, where it was dry, where you couldn't see where God was bringing you. You was constantly seeking him. You was constantly praying to him. God is saying, don't forget about me. You know, when you get there, I want you to seek me the same. So going forward, it says, but that is the time to be careful. Beware that in your plenty, you do not forget the Lord your God and begin to disobey him. For when you have become full and prosperous and have built fine homes to live in, and when your flocks and herds have become very large and your silver and gold have multiplied, that is the time to watch out that you don't become proud and forget the Lord, your God, who brought you out of your slavery in the land of Egypt. Beware that you don't forget the God who led you through the great and terrible wilderness with the dangerous snakes and scorpions, where it was hot and dry. Where it was dry, where you didn't have anything, where the enemy was constantly attacking you. And then God showed up. God showed up and he protected you from all the enemy was trying to send to destroy you, to distract you, to delay you. He protected you and he brought you out of that wilderness, and now he's taking you into your promises. So he says, when you get there, when you live in this abundant life, don't forget about me. He fed you with the manna in the wilderness so that you would become humble and so that your trust in him will grow. He did it so that you would never feel that it was your own power and might that made you wealthy. Always remember that it is the Lord your God who gives you power to become rich. And he does it to fulfill his promise to your ancestors. But if you forget about the Lord your God and worship other gods instead and follow evil ways, you shall certainly perish. Just as the Lord has caused the nations in the past to perish, that will be your fate too if you don't obey the Lord your God. He is telling you, don't forget about me. Don't forget about me when you didn't have nothing. Don't forget about me when your ops was trying to take you up out of here. Don't forget about me when you barely had food on the table. Don't forget about me when you were stressing, when you didn't know how you was going to make your next dollar. Don't forget about me. Because in those times, he was building you up for this moment. In those times, he was making you humble. So when you got to this place, you wouldn't think that it was by your own might or by your own power, but by his spirit alone. He is who got you to this place, okay? So he said, obey my commandments or you will perish. That will be your fate. You will fall just as well as all these other people has failed because they lost the sight of God. So stay in alignment with God. So moving forward, it says, you must love the Lord your God and obey every one of his commands. Listen, I am not talking now to your children who have never experienced the Lord's punishments or seen his greatness and his awesome power. They weren't there to see the miracles he did in Egypt against Pharaoh and all his land. They didn't see what God did to the armies of Egypt and to their horses and chariots, how he drowned them in the Red Sea as they were chasing you. They say these people didn't see when God got you through those troubles. They didn't see when God defeated that enemy that was coming up against you. They didn't see how the Lord cared for you time and time again through all the years you were wandering in the wilderness until your arrival here. They didn't see how God carried you through, how he made the impossible possible. They didn't see all that, but you seen that. So it says, but you have seen these mighty miracles. How carefully then you shall obey these commandments I am going to give you today, so that you may have the strength to go in and possess the land you are about to enter. If you obey the commandments, you will have a long and good life in the land the Lord promised to your ancestors and to you, a wonderful land flowing with milk and honey. For the land that you are about to enter and possess is not like the land of Egypt where you have come from, where irrigation is necessary. It is a land of hills and valleys with plenty of rain, a land that the Lord your God personally cares for. His eyes are always upon it, day after day throughout the year. God say, my hand is going to be on your life day after day throughout the year. It's going to be glory after glory after glory. Even if you do experience some hard times, God said, I'm not going to let you fall. You may trip, but you're not going to fall because I'm going to get you through that thing. So he's there to not only to protect you, but to make sure that you would never fall as long as you follow his commandments, as long as you obey him, as long as you never forget about him once he gets you to this land. Joshua is now leading the Israelites to the promised land. It says, so Joshua took the entire land, just as the Lord had instructed Moses, and he gave it to the people of Israel as their inheritance, dividing the land among the tribes. So the land finally rested from its war. You trusted God through the wilderness. That battle that you've been going up against, you're about to be able to rest and kick your feet up, honey, and enjoy this land flowing with milk and honey, okay? You're about to enter into that land and possess all the promises that God has promised you. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.